around because I got kicked out of our Restream app and I
Oh,
couldn't remember
goodness.
my password. And then I remembered that it was a login through my Facebook. And then it told me that I had to upgrade my subscription to join the stream. And then I was like, what's going on? And I realized it would have kicked me out. It also kicked me out of Pressbox's team. So then I had to rejoin Pressbox's team to get things up and running. And that is why we are 7 minutes late to start the show. So I don't I've been automatically logged into this since November. Literally since November. And I jump on today. Ryan and I get the entire show worked up. And I literally create the broadcast. I create the stream. Ryan gets in, and then they're like, "Oh, you can't get in, Paul, even though you're the host." Like Ryan can't set the show up and be the host of the show. I have to do that. It let him in and didn't let me in. Anyway, I hope you're all still here. We have a lot to talk about on this show in just 52 minutes now instead of our normal hour. My sincerest apologies for that. Want to remind you that the Bat Around is brought to you by Superbook. The Orioles aren't getting a lot of love when it comes to preseason win totals. Is it Pacoda or Picada?
I think it's Pacoda.
Yeah, because piccata is a way that you cook fish and chicken. Pacoda projects the Orioles at 87 wins, Fangraphs at 86, and at Superbook, the Birds' win total is set at just 90.5. If you think it's weird that a team that added Corbin Burns will be at least 11 wins worse, get your win total over, bet in right now. It's stupid weird that people do that. When you sign up at Superbook, use the code PressBox23 and you'll receive a same-day first bet match up to $250. And while you're on there, check out all the great props available for the big game tomorrow. So weird that we have to call it the big game because of sponsorship purposes. I've always thought that it was always stupid. But you know what? We didn't put it in the notes, and if we did, it's further down. Let's talk a little bit about these projections. Fangraphs came out and they said 86 wins for the Orioles. Pacoda said the Orioles 87. The Superbook said the Orioles 90.5. At least they got them over 90. And they have the Yankees and the Rays ranked ahead of the Orioles, at least at Fangraphs they do. And one of the guys at Fangraphs got on and started coming at all Orioles fans that were pissed off that the Yankees were rated higher than them. And it was like, it just doesn't make any sense because the Yankees, yes, they added Juan Soto and they added Marcus Stroman, which, you know, I like Marcus Stroman. A lot of people don't. A lot of people say he's a cancer in the clubhouse and that his best days are behind him. I disagree. I think he's got a lot of swagger that could really play well with a young team. But this guy came out and he was like, our projections are our projections. We have formulas for this, that, and the other. If you don't have an intelligent response or argument for why the Orioles should be ranked above the Yankees, he didn't say those. He didn't mention the teams, but he was getting at, well, that's what he was getting at. You know, if you don't have an intelligent argument, I don't want to hear it. It's basically what he said, me paraphrasing here, of course. If I look at the Orioles last year, they had 9 batters in their lineup that were league average or better. Jordan Westburg, the only one that was league average at 100 as a rookie. They had 8 batters that were above league average, and that's also counting Heston Kjerstad, who played like 11 games, right?
Right.
And they had all 5 of their starters. Okay, 4 of their 5 starters, when you include Corbin Burns, were above league average. And Grayson Rodriguez was at a 95, league average being 100. Grayson Rodriguez was at a 95 for ERA plus. I'm going by OPS plus for hitters and ERA plus for pitchers. Grayson Rodriguez was at a 95, and that's because he had a 7.5 ERA the first half of the year. If you were just to take his second half of the season, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball, right? So the Yankees, on the other hand, they have 3 hitters in their lineup that are better than league average. They have 3 starting pitchers in their rotation that are better than league average. How do the projections and calculations to find those projections have the Yankees rated above the Orioles? That you cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that it's not because it's the Yankees. because there's no other reason that you would rank the Yankees higher than the Orioles. And if the projections are based off of what DJ LeMahieu has done in his career when he hasn't been nearly the player he was in the last 4 years, okay, well, you can't make a compelling argument to me that would suggest that this is a rational calculation. It makes their projections, in my opinion, look like a joke.
It's like the one dude who voted for Josh Allen and Dak Prescott ahead of Lamar for MVP. It's like, pay attention, watch the games. It's I don't know, man. Look, we're used to these projections, thinking the Orioles are going to suck every year. And granted, we're not at that point anymore. They we are widely projected to be, an above 500 team, obviously, as they should be. But, it is hard to replicate a 101 win season.
Yeah,
however,
for sure,
mid 80s is far too low. Now, I will say that Zips, that projection system, which is on Fangraphs, they do have the Orioles winning the division at 90 and 72, with the Yankees and Blue Jays right behind them at 88 and 74, the Rays at 83 and 79, and the Red Sox in last place at 79 and 83. Now, that's not Fangraphs projections, but it's I think it's is it Dan Zimborski who heads the Zips?
Yeah, I think he's the guy who was tweeting out at people.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
So let me just go back to the beginning of this, and I'm remembering now that the projections were percentage to win the World Series.
Gotcha.
And they had the Yankees and the Rays above the Orioles.
Okay. And yeah, and that is absolutely because it's the Yankees and we're the Orioles. There's no other explanation. There are too many good players on this team, too many better players on this team than what the other guys in the division have.
Right.
For that to be the case, I think. Look, I understand that you have to be there and do that in order to get the respect you deserve. And the Orioles have not really been there and done that. Neither have the Yankees. They haven't been to a World Series since 2009.
Yeah.
So why are we just
missed the playoffs last year?
Yeah. Why are we just assuming that because they are the New York Yankees that they have a better shot to go all the way? That's not how it works. And one thing that these projection systems can't quantify is, and I hate to say vibes, but I guess team chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Chemistry is massive in how a team performs. And the chemistry on the Baltimore Orioles is second to none. It's unlike any other team I've seen in my lifetime, really. These are guys who came up through the system together, have been playing together for years, genuinely love each other, hang out with each other a ton outside of the stadium, and they feed off of each other on the diamond. When Gunner's hitting well, Adley's hitting well. And when Grayson's pitching well, Bradish is pitching well. It's all they all mesh. They all mesh extremely well, and you can't quantify that. And I think that genuinely does tack on a few wins over the course of a season when guys are feeding off of each other and performing better because of it.
I agree. They all do mesh well, but
something came up my throat a little bit there.
I only make fun because it happens to me a lot.
Oh yeah.
So no worries. So I did tweet out to Dan Zimborski. I said, I don't pretend to understand how your calculations work, but what I can see is the Orioles have 5 starting pitchers, I'm including Grayson second half, who are at or above league average, and 9 hitters who were at or above league average. The Yankees have 3 of each. How are they better? A Yankees fan came at me and said the 2 best hitters for the O's are Rutschman and Henderson, who were both projected to post a WRC plus of 126. For the Yankees, Judge and Soto are projected to post a WRC plus of 160. How much above average players are matters, which is great. The Orioles don't have 2 hitters in their lineup that are of the ilk of a Juan Soto and an Aaron Judge. Okay, I get that. But every other player in the Orioles lineup is better than every other hitter in the Yankees lineup. And in my opinion, it's not particularly close, right?
Yeah. And we talked about this before. I mean, Rizzo is not who he used to be. Gleyber is not who he used to be. Well, Gleyber's still fine, I think. But LeMahieu's not who he used to be. Verdugo's fine, I guess. Like, Volpe needs to take a big step forward to reach the ceiling that, a lot of people thought he would get to. I agree. I just don't see it outside of those 2 heavy hitters.
I do not. And I said, dude, they'd have to hit 2 home runs a game all season for them being above average to be what puts the Yankees over the top. For them being like the two of the best hitters in baseball, not above average. For them being 2 of the best hitters in baseball, for that to put the Yankees over the top. I told the guy that the Orioles have 9 hitters that are above average. The Yankees have 3. And he said it's almost like the Yankees don't have just replacement level players, and the Orioles don't actually have 9 above average position players. I said just 7 of their starting 9. It was this whole back and forth, and we got into Anthony Volpe. And I said Jackson Holliday is going to be better than Anthony Volpe. Gunnar Henderson is already better than Anthony Volpe. And then I went on to say Jordan Westburg is going to be better than Anthony Volpe. The guy kind of stopped responding after that. I think he probably thought that was like ridiculous. Why is it ridiculous though?
It's not.
Because Jordan Westburg was taken 30th overall in the 2020 draft. Was Volpe drafted 2019 or 2021?
I have no idea, but Westbrook's better. I agree.
But they were drafted in back-to-back years. Westburg 30th overall. Volpe 30th overall. Volpe had one really good season at Double-A and then made him like a top 10 prospect in the game. Westburg's average season in the minors was better than Volpe's. I won't say better, but Westburg, as soon as he hit professional baseball, became a productive middle of the order bat. His first year in pro baseball and minor league baseball, he hit more home runs than he hit in 3 years of college baseball. Hit 9 less doubles than he hit in 3 years of college baseball against better pitching. 15 homers, 67 RBIs his first year. His next year, he hit 27 home runs, drove in 106. And then last year, before he got called up, he was on pace to hit like 35 home runs and drive in like 120. Jordan Westburg, I think that dude is going to be, and I talked about this on the show last week. I think Jordan Westburg is going to be a middle of the order bat. And he's the Orioles, like, they were playing Adam Frazier over Jordan Westburg last year because of the veteran leadership. And I think Jordan Westburg is better than their best young player, like their best young player, not named Juan Soto. I think Jordan Westburg's better. I don't think that the Yankees are that good of a team. They'll probably make the playoffs. They'll win 85, 90, between 85 and 95 games this year. I do not think that they're better than the Orioles. I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah, I look, we're not, and neither of us are sitting here trying to say that the Yankees are going to be bad. That's not the case at all. The Yankees are going to be a very solid baseball team, and I think they'll put up a fight for the division. They might, I don't think they're going to win it, but I really don't think they can compete with the depth that the Orioles have in both the rotation and the starting lineup. It's just, I just don't see it. They don't scare me anymore. They really don't.
They haven't scared me in a couple of years. As soon as the Orioles became relevant again in 2022 and they played the Yankees hard, I just, they stopped being the evil empire to me because they still spend a ton of money, but in my opinion, now they're doing it on the wrong players. Aaron Judge, for example, in 6 full seasons, not counting the truncated season, he's played less. He's missed at least 50 games 3 times in his 6 full seasons. And in the truncated season, he missed more than half the games with an injury. Last year he played, 106 games last year?
Something like
that. Now
he
hit 38 home runs and drove in 96 in those 106 games. But Aaron Judge, incredible hitter. He has not proven that he can stay on the field continuously. Like the years that he does, he's a monster. He's an absolute monster. 52 homers as a rookie, 62 homers in 2022 to win MVP. But he's got to stay on the field. Juan Soto, he's the best player on that team, and I don't think that's particularly close either. But we got to move on because we got started late anyway. I want to remind you that no big game party is complete without Royal Farms world-famous chicken. Get an 8-piece mix for just $12 or a 10-piece dark for just $15 at your neighborhood Royal Farms. A lot of off-season moves, Ryan, that the Orioles have made, especially recently. Perhaps the most polarizing move of the off-season. The Orioles have switched back to Coca-Cola products, leaving Pepsi in the dust. A lot of us are happy about that. Ryan, You were not. You were one of very few people I saw who was extremely upset about this. People kind of came at you, which kind of just proves that people will just crap all over you and attack you for just about anything. You could say that you like Snickers better than Milky Way, and people would send you into spiraling depression.
Oh yeah.
It's
Here's the thing, Paul. So personally, I prefer, if it's simply Pepsi versus Coke, right? I prefer Pepsi, but they're interchangeable for me. I'm fine either way with Pepsi or Coke. Now, I think that overall, Pepsi has an edge in the full body of, or the full Rolodex, I guess, of products, right? Pepsi's got Mountain Dew. I'm a big Mountain Dew. Well, I shouldn't say I'm a big Mountain Dew guy, but I enjoy a Mountain Dew, right? I don't know what the hell Coke is, Mellow Yellow or something. Doesn't matter.
I guess
doesn't matter. The big thing for me, Paul, Pepsi's bottled water is Aquafina. Coke's is Dasani. That is the Baltimore Orioles is Aquafina. Dasani's the Boston Red Sox. Okay, I don't think those are particularly close. The big thing for me, right, is I'm a Birdland member. A lot of people are Birdland members. You can go to the clubhouse and get a free bottle of water as you come into the stadium, right? I'm not going there for a free bottle of Dasani. I would go there just about every game, and sometimes I'd be in the mood for a soda, so I'd get a Pepsi. You can get one or the other, but I would go there for a nice bottle of a cold, crisp Aquafina water, right? There's no way in hell I'm going there for a half a cup of popcorn and a bottle of Dasani. There's no chance in the world. So that's why I'm annoyed that they're switching back to Coca-Cola products. It's not because I'm one of those, oh, Pepsi is better than Coke, and if you disagree, you're wrong. No, it's not that. It's the water, man. It's the water.
It's so weird to me that bottled water does that to you, because to me, bottled water is more interchangeable than Coke and Pepsi.
It tastes different, though.
Well, we are going to do a blind taste test here. All right, we've decided we're going to do the Coke versus Pepsi, Aquafina versus Dasani. I was thinking when you and I were just talking about, like, literally as we were just talking about this, I was thinking maybe next week we'll do Mountain Dew versus Mellow Yellow, but Mountain Dew blows Mellow Yellow out of the water. It's not even close. And then I was thinking maybe we could do Starry versus Sprite versus, what is it, Squirt? Isn't there something called
something like that? Yeah,
Squirt.
it might be. I think that's the off-brand.
Yeah, nice advertising. You guys want a nice bottle of Squirt? Oh, God. Anyway, I don't think we need to do that, right? Sprite's the champion, and that Sprite's the champion, Mountain Dew's the champion. Coke versus Pepsi. I've always thought that Pepsi tasted sweeter than Coke. So last year I did, or maybe 2 years ago, no, it was definitely last year, because it was right after I watched the Where's My Jet thing on Netflix from the Pepsi thing. I did the Coke and Pepsi challenge, and I've always been a Coke guy. I've always thought the Pepsi was a little bit sweeter than Coke, and I didn't like that. They tasted exactly the same. And I picked what I thought maybe tasted a little bit better, and it was Pepsi. My whole life, I've been a Coke guy, and I picked Pepsi. So we're going to do this again, and I want to see if I just picked the one, if I just randomly picked one, if I end up picking Coke this time. We'll see, but we're going to...
So I'm curious.
I just saw something that gave this away. That gave away the
I was just gonna ask how you set this up, because obviously we're remote. We can't blind test each other.
Right.
So
I put tape on the bottom of the glass.
That's what I did too.
I wrote a D for Dasani, an A for Aquafina, P for Pepsi, a C for Coke. And I literally just looked over, and I accidentally saw the D through the water on the bottom of the glass.
You never want to accidentally see the D.
So I'm looking. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but look at how, like, this is Dasani. It almost looks carbonated. Look at all those bubbles in there.
Yeah.
And then look at Aquafina. Yeah. Look at the difference. That's, like, you can even see that on camera. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
That is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah. So, all right, I have these.
I almost don't want to drink this now. That's crazy.
So, I have these Orioles cups. They're like It's like a brownish gray cup with the Orioles logo on them. And so what I did was I did the same thing as you. I put tape on the bottom of them, and then I didn't write the letters, I wrote the full words, but then I poured the drinks up on the dining room table. I came down to work on I moved them around as I was singing a song in my head. I would have had Megan help me, but she's recovering from surgery she had on Wednesday, so she's not up for it. So I mixed them up, sang a song, came down, forgot what was what, went back up, mixed them up again, brought them down. So I have them sitting on the table next to me. I have no idea what's what. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to close my eyes, reach for a cup, drink the cup. You'll be able to see on the bottom what it is. And then I guess I react. I don't know. I've never done a blind test before, but I think I set it up pretty well.
All right. We'll let you go first, since I think mine is no longer a blind test. And I think because of how different the waters look, I'm wondering if no, it's not. It's different. All right. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to push the mic away for a sec. All right.
Drum roll.
I really hope this is one of the waters and not one of the soda. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just take the other one or whatever it is. All right, here we go.
Yeah, that's soda, I think.
It's water.
Okay.
It's Dasani. This one, hang on. Let me find the other water. Hang on. I got to make sure I can see where the cups are. Okay. Other water. Aquafina. This one's Aquafina. All right. Oh my God. No way.
That is awesome.
All right.
I love that so much, because
signing off, guys.
Drank it and it said Aqua, and I was like, and then you were like, it's Dasani. I was like, oh my God. I was so excited when that just happened. I was
okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. Now. I don't know. They both don't taste great. All right. Screw me, I guess.
Yeah. That was perfect. I love that so much, because that's what happened to me when I was like, Pepsi, Coke. I like this one better. Pepsi. That was awesome.
Unbelievable. Right. My entire life, I have been disappointed when I get a bottle of Dasani. And I do genuinely think, like, if maybe it's the bottle, but when I drink Dasani out of the bottle, it tastes different. It tastes worse. Aquafina to me is crisper, cleaner. I pour them into a cup. Apparently it doesn't matter. So egg on my face. That did not go as I expected.
You got to ask them for like one of those plastic cups, like not like an Orioles cup, like a plastic cup. Like, I want a bottle of water and I need a plastic cup, and just pour it right into the cup.
Wow. I am stunned that went the way that it did.
That was amazing. That might be my all-time favorite moment in our iteration of this show.
All right. Should I do Coke versus Pepsi now?
Well, let me do the waters first.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, you're really going for it. Drinking the whole thing.
Not great. I like our tap water better.
Yeah.
Aquafina. That just tasted fresher. It tasted like. Now, hang on one second.
I'm gonna blame it on these cups. I haven't used these cups in a while. Maybe they were like a little dusty or something.
I'm wondering. Let me hang on a second. When I got the Dasani, it said 100% something on it. It was the only Dasani that they had there. Hang on one second.
Okay, 100% something, like 100. Maybe the bottle is 100% recyclable. I don't know. In any event, I am absolutely in shock that I did not immediately know. I really thought the Aquafina was Dasani. I thought it tasted bad. I genuinely think it's these cups. But hey.
All right. So
before.
Aquafina just says Aquafina, pure water, perfect taste, and purified by reverse osmosis. Drink up. Okay. Dasani, one, the bottle says 100% recycled bottle.
Oh, nailed it. That's what I thought it said.
All right. It also says purified water, minerals added for taste. That's probably the minerals that I was seeing. Unless I don't know how minerals work. Can you even see minerals? Who the hell knows?
I don't know.
But maybe that's the minerals that I was seeing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Aquafina. For you, it was Dasani, which is just so awesome.
Yep.
I'm so happy that just happened on our show. Randall, we're gonna get to your comment here in just a moment. He's responding to our opening segment or our second segment.
I think it's hilarious. Segment. It's objectively funny that happened. It's also very embarrassing because I was standing very firm on Aquafina is a million times better than Dasani.
Do you see the shit eating grin on my face? I'm so happy because you were like, it's about the water, you dick. Stop attacking me. I will die on this hill. And it's like, no, you're going to fall off that hill and roll all the way down to the bottom. That was just, I'm so happy.
Yep.
All right.
I'm done having opinions on anything.
All right. Well, since you went first with the water, I'll go first with the soda. All right. So I have no idea what I'm drinking here. I did not see these. I saw the waters, but I did not see these. All right. And it was a clear difference for me between Dasani and Aquafina, like clear difference.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll drink. I'm right-handed. I'll drink the right hand first.
Interesting. You must be married because that looks like your left hand. You're really pounding those drinks. You look like you're taking shots of whiskey.
I'm so used to chugging everything because I take protein shakes and all that, and so used to chugging them. That was good. I like soda. I don't drink it that often anymore, but I do like it. Let me cleanse the palate here.
Mm-hmm. With Aquafina, naturally.
With Aquafina. You know what? While I'm at that, let me take a sip out of the Dasani bottle and see.
I think it might be the bottle. Should I go get the bottles?
They taste exactly the same out of the bottle. It may have been my glass.
Interesting.
They taste exactly the same out of the bottle. Like there's no. They're exactly the same. They taste exactly the same out of the bottle to me.
All right.
So it's my glass. I've used these glasses to like mix up like pre-workout and creatine. I sound like such a friggin' meathead. To mix that stuff up before I go to the gym. So it may have been some of that stuff in the bottom of it after it got washed. See, there it is. Washed. All right. So that was all right.
Soda number 2. Did you just see it again?
I saw it. I saw it. Why did I look at the bottom of the glass? Why did I not just look up?
You gotta do it with your eyes closed. This is great.
They taste exactly the same.
All right, I'll be the judge of that.
I gotta get the bottles because now I can't trust these glasses. You take your.
I'm worried about it too, but I don't want to step away at the same time. I'll do my blind test. I just picked up one of the sodas. I don't know which one it is. I'll close my eyes. Could you see the label on that one?
I did, and let me tell you that even with your eyes closed, your facial expression, you could do a commercial for that particular soda. All you have to do is go. Yep, there it is.
Good. It's good.
That was a commercial. That's a commercial right there.
Find the other
sponsorship opportunities.
All right, number 2, eyes closed. Pretty sure. Did I get that one right? Pepsi. Oh my god! I know nothing.
They taste exactly the same, which is crazy to me because every time I've had a Pepsi, I'm like, I don't hate Pepsi, but Coke is way better. I've always thought there was a distinct difference, but every time I drink them out of the glass in the taste test, they taste exactly the same to me. So you vamp while I go grab the bottles and let me check it out that way.
Yeah, it's so weird how that works. I Gosh, 0 for 2. I really thought I was going to nail both of these, to be 100% honest. But man, it's remarkable how I really think with the water it was the cup. I don't know. Paul had them both out of the bottle. This is a hell of a show we've got going here. We're just testing waters and drinks. We've talked a little bit of Orioles. We'll get back to some Orioles eventually, right? But for now,
all right, we do have to pick things up here, but Pepsi out of the bottle.
This is the kind of show where it'd be nice to go back to the 2.5 hours.
Yeah, for sure. We should have done.
Should have done this at the end.
We should have done this. Well, we would have not left enough time.
True,
but we should have done this on the 2.5 hour version. Like,
agreed.
When they went to Pepsi to begin with, because Pepsi hasn't been there that long, has it?
No, I don't think so. I think it was pretty recent that they switched over to Pepsi. Also, I don't know if it matters because I think the Orioles have a deal with Powerade specifically, but Pepsi brand is Gatorade, Coke is Powerade, I believe.
Dude, it's the bottles.
I really think it is.
Because Coke, way better than Pepsi out of the bottle. Out of the bottle, Pepsi is sweeter and less carbonated. Coke has that bite to it. I really think. I mean, look at the difference in the bottles. I think
are they cold? Were they in the fridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. They're colder. They're colder than what I had because mine have been out in room temperature since about 5 of 10.
Yeah.
Out of the bottle, Coke is, in my opinion, far superior.
Fair enough. I like Pepsi better out of the can.
I like most sodas better out of the can, but that's probably not good for you.
Probably right. All right. Well, that didn't go as expected. Should we talk about Austin Hayes?
Yeah, we should definitely talk about Austin Hayes. But before we do that, I do want to point out today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Good thing Ryan did not put money on Aquafina over Dasani because it would have been he'd be out of money. He would have lost his life savings on that because I would have bet the farm that you would have bet the farm on Aquafina, and it did not.
I went in so confident. I was 100% sure I would know the difference immediately.
I never take clips from the show and post individual clips, but I would love to just post that one clip right underneath your tweet about Aquafina over Dasani and be like,
I would respect that.
We do got to get moving on here. Austin Hayes wins his arbitration hearing against the Orioles, receiving $6.3 million contract for 2024, as opposed to the O's proposed $5.85 million. I was just so excited about as opposed to the O's proposed that off the rails today.
Not alliteration, but it's similar.
Yeah, Orioles came out at $5.85 million. Austin Hayes counted at $6.3 million, and he won his hearing. Hayes has since expressed serious interest in signing a long-term extension with the club after he was treated fairly during the arbitration process. I got a burp coming on. I'm just going to let it rip.
Well, that was a good one. That's all that soda. Go ahead.
First, it was great to hear that the team doesn't rip their players apart in the arbitration process. I think Anthony Santander said something similar last year. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, Austin Hayes wants a long-term extension with this team, and it makes sense. He came up with this team. They're really good now. He wants to be here for the long haul. Orioles have some decisions to make. Hayes is in his final year of arbitration. Anthony Santander is in his final year of arbitration. You have Colton Cowser and Heston Kjerstad waiting in the wings. And Cedric Mullins is still a year away from his final year of arbitration. Austin Hayes, coming off his first All-Star season in which he slashed 275, 325, 444, 769 with 16 home runs, 67 RBIs, and a career-high 36 doubles, while also being a finalist for the Gold Glove in left field. He also walked a career-high 38 times, which is not a great number, especially when it's a career high. You look at what Austin Hayes has done in his career this past season, He was leading the American League in hitting at the All-Star break. He ended up starting the All-Star game. He hit 314 in the first half, 228 in the second half, after hitting 270 in the first half last year and 220 in the second half. Then he hit in 2022, then 247 in the first half, 264 in the second half of 2021. So reverse from the last 2 years. Basically, what all this is to say, he has never put together a full season. It's always one really good half, one really bad half, or two. 2021 was 2 average halves, but we remember the second half, he really came on, started hitting a lot of home runs and hitting for better average down the stretch in 2021. Nobody is going to play left field better than Austin Hayes in Camden Yards. He can move over the center. He can play right. He's got the best arm on the team. He is a really good outfielder. Do the Orioles even consider an extension for him? Because he's 29. He's in the final year of arbitration. He's making over $6 million, and they've got 2 young guys who might be better. And they're certainly going to hit, I think, for more power and better. And in Cal's case, I think ultimately better contact. And they're going to cost the Orioles league minimum for the next 3 years. What are your thoughts on this?
Call for me, man, because I really like Austin Hayes. I really appreciate. Dude's a grinder.
Mm-hmm.
He's battled back from so many injuries. He always wants to be on the field. He'll play at less than 100%. I would venture to guess that the overwhelming majority of games he's played, he's been banged up some way or the other. And I know that's common across baseball, but with Hayes, it's a different level of grit that you see. Look, he's meant a lot to this team. He's put together some really solid runs. But because of the guys around him, I'm not sure that an extension is the best idea unless it's going to be, a few million a year to be, kind of a platoon 4th outfielder type, because I do think that Cowser is going to be a regular. I think Kjerstad is going to be a regular. I think Mullins is going to continue to be a regular. And then you've got guys like Dylan Beavers and maybe even like a Judd Fabian coming up who are going to give these guys, a run for their spots. Connor Norby might make a push to play some left field. There's so many possibilities for who could be in this outfield over the next few years that I'm not sure I'm comfortable committing to Austin Hayes long term. And I feel crappy saying that because he's a dude's dude and a great guy and a great teammate. That dude's a dude. He's a great teammate, a great player. But I'm just not sure that I'm worried that if you commit to him at a significant dollar amount to be your everyday left fielder for the next 3, 4, 5 years, that we're going to be looking at him a few years from now the same way we've looked at guys like Rougned Odor and Adam Frazier and, even like Jorge Mateo, Ramon Arias, guys who are taking playing time away from younger players who might be more talented or more deserving. And again, I feel bad saying that because I love Austin Hayes, but I'm not sure that's in the best interest of the team long term.
I agree with you. And I just said that dude's a dude. I'm almost certain that the first time I said that was when you were guest hosting for Zach on the show, and we were talking about Austin Hayes. And it was it was at the beginning of 2022 when he was just on fire. He hit for the cycle in a 6-inning game against the Nationals that year. And I said to you, that dude's a dude. And that's why we say that. And it was originally said about Austin Hayes. I love Austin Hayes. He plays with a fire and a grit that I absolutely love because and again, this isn't like how I just said, I'm such a meathead because I was like, I put pre-workout and creatine in this class. What I'm about to say is going to kind of sound similar to that. That's how I play baseball. I play baseball as hard as I can because I love it and I get to play once a week for 6 months out of the year. I play as hard as I can. And Austin Hayes, that he is all out every single game.
Austin Hayes sent a tweet several years back. He might have even still been in the minors, or maybe he was kind of, in between AAA and the bigs. He sent out a tweet, which I think has been deleted because I haven't been able to dig it up. I've wanted to retweet it several times, and I have a screenshot on my iPad, but it was something along the lines of, There is no off season, just another opportunity to grind like an absolute savage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of that is an exact quote. I remember that word for word. That's a dude you want on your team.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is.
Absolutely. That's also
And
probably why he got hurt so much.
probably maybe grind like a little bit less of a savage, but continue to grind.
His agent probably advised him to take that down. I would
It's
imagine,
possible.
because if he, especially at this point in his career when he's like looking for an extension, you want them to think that you're taking care of your body, not destroying it. But
That's true.
continue.
Anyway, no, that's just to say that Hayes is a great personality. He's a grinder, and you know he's a great left fielder. Like there's so many things about Austin Hayes that make me want to keep him around for as long as we can. But also, you got guys who are younger and probably a little bit more talented.
I just don't think it's in the cards. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, I think he'd be a great fit in St. Louis. I could also see him being out in Colorado and putting up career numbers out there.
Hayes would hit some tanks in Coors Field.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. We really got to get rolling along here. Starting late and having a 30-minute taste test segment will kill us today. Jacob Webb also won his hearing against the Orioles. He'll receive $1 million in 2024, as opposed to the O's proposed $925,000. And one of what we hope is John Angelos' final moves as control person. The Orioles really took Jacob Webb to arbitration over $75,000. Now, look, I don't believe that John Angelos has anything to do with the arbitration process. But I find it hard to believe that anybody running a team would squabble over what would amount to like 25 cents to you and me. Like 75,000. We went to arbitration over 75,000. I get it. He was I almost dropped an F-bomb. He was freaking terrible in September and freaking terrible in the postseason. I get
Which is a shame because he was nasty in August.
He was nasty in his first 6 weeks with the team. He was incredible. And then his last 3-4 weeks with the team, he was maybe their worst reliever. And that includes Brian Baker.
Yeah, look, it's a business. It's kind of crappy, but that's the way these things go. I'm not losing too much sleep over it. I don't think Webb is either. He got his million. It's a good round number.
Gets to say he's a millionaire now.
Sure.
So, Ryan, that leads us to our weekly segment. It's the debut of Ryan Blake's Soft Toss, or Soft Toss with Ryan Blake. We'll figure out what we're going to call it exactly. But go ahead, take it away. And not to stifle you, but we got to make it a little succinct.
Sure. Yeah, I'll plow through it. So this is Soft Toss. It's going to be a weekly segment in which I will talk about something that I feel like talking about. That's the best way I can describe it so far. This week, it's John Angelos reportedly agreeing to a deal with T. Rowe Price for the naming rights to Oriole Park at Camden Yards just days before he sold the team. But Paul, T. Rowe Price did not know that John Angelos was prepared to sell the Baltimore Orioles. Look, this is just another weasel move by John Angelos. They found out that the Orioles were being sold at the same time as everyone else did. They found out probably through social media. We have no idea at this point if that deal is going to fall through, if the terms will be renegotiated, what on earth is going to happen. Maybe we're showing up to the T Rowe Price Park at Camden Yards, Oriole Park at T Rowe Price Yards. I have no idea. But in any event, the Angelos has at least explored the possibility of selling the naming rights, and it'll be, I guess, determined in the future if this new ownership will do the same.
I would love it if they just called it Oriole Park at Camden Yards, presented by T. Rowe Price, or powered by T. Rowe Price. Keep Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I think that you should. I hate to say it, but I think you should sell the naming rights to any stadium, because it's money for your team, right? But not unless your name's John Angelos, because he's a piece of shit. But it's money for your team, and a lot of times that money goes right back into the ball club. I don't like Oriole Park at T. Rowe Price Yards. You've got to at least keep Camden Yards in there. And while we're at it, it's either Oriole Park or it's Camden Yards. It's not Camden. I don't know anybody that I know people that do it, but like It's not, you don't, hey, have you been to Camden this year? It's not Camden. It's Camden Yards. Or it's, have you been down to Oriole Park this year? It's one or the other. It is not Camden. What are your thoughts on that real quick? I just want to know how you feel about that.
I just call it the Yard.
The Yard?
Yeah.
The
I
Yard
like
works too. Like fifth on the list is Camden. I've never called it that.
I will say, if Megan and I have a son, the first name on my list is Camden, just because of the meaning behind it.
That's absolutely fine.
I know our mutual friend Dylan Atkinson named his son Cam as well.
So. Aren't you guys like really good friends?
We haven't talked recently, but yeah, we used to play softball together.
Oh, that's cool. Another fan and friend of the show. My cousin Zach, he named his firstborn son Brooks Robinson Pieper. Like,
there you go.
His last name's Pieper. He named him Brooks Robinson Pieper. So like, Camden's a cool name. I like that. Adley Camden, Brooks Adley. You know, I was thinking I liked Manny until Manny left. Yeah. I still love Manny Machado, but anyway,
I think my wife has more of a say than I do when that time comes.
Yeah, my wife and I combined for the name. She came up with both names, but the original name she came up with I didn't like, so I got to veto them, and then she said one I liked.
There you
go. Moving on, Orioles acquired 2 DFA'd infielders this week. Nick Maton from the Tigers for old friend cash considerations, and Levon Soto from the Angels on a waiver claim. Maton played parts of 2 seasons for the Phillies, the 93 games for Detroit last year, slashing 173, 288, 305. He plays primarily second base and third base with a little shortstop and outfield experience mixed in. Walks a good amount. He doesn't really strike out, doesn't chase a ton. He has decent pop, but as you put in the notes, Ryan, he's a utility guy. Soto, another guy who plays all over the infield, but he has far less major league experience. Slash 375, 414, 531 in the bigs, but the sample size is just 71 plate appearances. That's like 26, 27 hits in 71 plate appearances. Yeah. Between AA, AAA, posted an OPS over 700. So maybe there's a little something to work. As you said, I'm reading for you because we just got to get through it. Yeah. As Ryan said, there's a little something to work with there, but I agree with you. I don't see it with either one of these guys. I think that they're depth moves, and we've seen some beat writers saying, yours were looking for a left-handed hitting infielder, as if either of these guys are going to make the team over Jackson Holiday. If that happens, something tragic has happened for those guys to make the team over Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. It's depth.
Like Tyler Nevin, it's a depth move. I don't think any of the 3 of these guys will make the opening day roster. Maton, from what I know about Nick Maton, is he's a pretty good vibes guy, if we want to call him that. You know, really helped with the chemistry around the Phillies when he was up there. So, you know, and I know the Phillies players were disappointed when he left. Yeah, I mean, look, he hasn't really put it together at the big league level. Wasn't really great in the minors either. So it's a depth move. Only gave up a little bit of cash. Soto was a DFA by the Angels and claimed off waivers. So look, these guys aren't going to be a problem. And if they are taking playing time away from somebody, like you said, Paul, something is going.
Any relation for Nick Maton to Phil Maton? Are they really?
Yeah, they're brothers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure. And Levon Soto is Juan Soto's third cousin.
He hit 375 last year. Sign him up. I'm all for it. I
made that up.
And you should be all for Goose Flights. Pressbox urges you to drink a beer or two in honor of Tony Saragusa. We've partnered with Guilford Hall Brewery to release Goose Flights, a delicious lager to honor Tony's legacy and how his family is continuing to celebrate him with the Goose Flights Foundation. The Goose Flights Foundation is now run by Tony's kids and provides non-emergency medical transport to those in need. You can buy 6-packs and single cans of Goose Flights at Guilford Hall Brewery and Costas Inn, with single cans also available at Alonzo's in Roland Park and the Glory Days Grill locations in Maryland, or purchase 6-packs and cases also available at the Wine Source in Hampton. Raise a glass to Tony and support this great foundation. Go to pressboxonline.com/gooseflights to learn all about it. Spring training, 4 days away. Phil Maton, we talked about last week, he signed. I don't know with who. Ryan Brazier signed. I don't know with who. The Orioles,
Maton was the Rays. Brazier, I'm not sure. Brazier might have been the Dodgers.
Then that would make sense. That's where he was before. I think I did actually see that now that you mentioned the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That really doesn't leave much else on the market as far as a reliever that you'd want to bring in for the Orioles. We were thinking that they might do another move. Clase out in Cleveland is on the table, is on the trading block, but that's going to cost way too much. And everybody loves that dude, and I get it, but he blew 12 saves last year. I've had people crying about Craig Kimbrell, and he didn't blow 12 saves last year, but those same people would love to have Clase. I get it. He's young. He's got a really talented arm, but 12 blown saves is still 12 blown saves.
Yeah, he also had like 55 opportunities or something like that.
Yeah.
He's still up a ton of saves.
It's like 2013 when Jim Johnson saved 50 games, but he blew 9 saves.
Yeah.
And
there were also, and I know this because Clase is on my fantasy team. He came into a lot of, granted, he had a few like pretty bad outings, but he also came into a lot of one-run games from what I remember.
Okay. I mean, and usually, like when Felix Bautista blew a save last year, he had like 5 or 6 blown saves. They were all one-run games. It wasn't, and he did give up that grand slam, but he was also a strike away from getting out of that inning without any runs scored.
Yeah.
But
Paul, there's one name, if I could bring it up real quick, that he wouldn't be able to pitch until probably the All-Star break at the absolute earliest. But what about a 1-year cheap deal for Liam Hendriks?
I wouldn't hate it. And it would be like a trade deadline acquisition if he comes back strong. He came back from cancer last year and he didn't pitch well. The only thing that gives me pause is we saw Trey Mancini be – if Trey Mancini in 2019 had played for a team that went to the playoffs, he would have been an MVP candidate. I mean, he hit 35 home runs. He hit, 38 doubles that year, drove in close to 100 while hitting close to 300. And then he got the cancer diagnosis in 2020, and he came back and was a shell of himself after the cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
We saw Liam Hendriks. Look, he came back from cancer, and he pitched last year. He only had a handful of appearances before season was ended with the injury, but the ERA was close to 6.
Yeah.
So I don't hate the idea of it, but it gives me pause for concern when you think about what can happen to you. Like chemo changes you. You're never the same.
Absolutely.
Guys like John Lester and Eric Davis being absolute animals after coming back from cancer. Eric Davis doing it in the same season while going through chemo. There's a reason.
Too.
John Kruk. Did you say John Kruk? Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So, but we remember these guys' names because it's the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate Liam Hendriks, but it would.
It's just the only name. I was looking at the tracker, and it's the only name that stood out to me as like I wouldn't hate that one.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad one. And look, if the Orioles traded for Clase, awesome. But I wouldn't be like no.
Get the Brewers back on the line. Talk about some Devin Williams action.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that too. Yeah, I would love that too.
They're floating him out there as well.
Now
apparently.
you're probably giving up a top 5 prospect to get one of those guys.
Yeah.
Real quick. I still am chomping at the bit for the Orioles to sign Cody Bellinger. I think his bat plays perfectly in here, but if he signs here, definitely bye-bye Austin Hayes, but we'll probably get Ryan McKenna off the roster for good. I think he's somehow going to make the opening day roster. I hope not, but I think he will. But I'm still, touting that the Orioles to go out and sign Cody Bellinger. He's just a perfect fit for Camden Yards and for this ball club. Want to get to a chat real quick. Randall Francase with Burns and Means at 100%, adding Holiday, Kerstad, Kowser, Mayo, Norby, and I guess he's talking about Seth Johnson throughout this season. I see O's winning 106 plus. Their depth surpasses everyone. He didn't even mention like a Jordan Armbruster or a Chase McDermott or a Cade Povich there. He went Seth Johnson, I don't think he's ever pitched above high A. But they have been talking about him potentially debuting this summer. That's how good he is. So, now, Randall, that is a bold prediction, 106 plus. I mean, a lot of things have to go right. Although, the 2021 Giants won 107 games somehow. And then they won like 80 the next year. But 106 plus wins. Look, the Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball. There's no mistake about that. There's no getting around it. 106 is a lot. But look, if any team can do it, aside from like the Dodgers and Braves, it's the Orioles with the depth, with how determined they are, with what happened to end their season last year, and now they have Corbin Burns in the mix. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's a lot of things. There's a lot of luck involved too with winning 106 games. You can win 95 games because you're a really good team. To get over 100, you got to have a lot of things go your way, right?
Yeah, that's a massive number. I mean, it'd be great. Don't get me wrong. But, we have to remember that all these guys are going to be getting their first cup of coffee. It's not always a smooth transition. We saw it with Gunnar struggling a bit. Grayson Rodriguez was awful at the beginning. It's not easy. Kowser last year was pretty rough. Joey Ortiz wasn't good when he came up. So, look, it's bold to assume that all these guys are going to hit the ground running and contribute to wins. I would love to see it. I think they're talented enough, but yeah, we'll see. 106 is a huge, huge, huge number.
Huge number. I will say, I do think that Kjerstad, Holiday, and Westberg are going to be, I think Kjerstad and Holiday are going to be top 5 in Rookie of the Year. And I think Westberg is going to really make a statement this year. Like, I have a lot of confidence in that guy. Like, his bat has just been too special at every level for me to think that he's not going to do the same thing this year that he's done in his second year everywhere else. So, Ryan, got anything else before we get out of here?
I'm going to go finish my bottle of delicious Dasani water, apparently.
I also learned that Captain Morgan mixed with Sprite apparently tastes just like cream soda. I've always been a Captain and Ginger guy, but I only think about it like on the golf course. I'm doing 75 hard or some kind of version of 75 hard. My wife doesn't like the idea of a second workout, but I can't drink alcohol until like April 20th. So I'll try it then. But do want to remind everybody to tune into Glenn Clark Radio this week and every week. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with DL Hall, Buck Showalter, Jim Bowden, and more, you can find them right now in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you to Ryan for your excellent work, as always. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our listeners, fans, viewers. Without you, we definitely do not have a show. We appreciate it. Until next week, see ya.